right, so that's rolling. So, hey there, everyone. Welcome. Really excited today to talk a little bit about how we explain what a health coach is. So, this is kind of a little bit around the value proposition of health coaching. This isn't a marketing sort of mini training. We're not here to wordsmith this or figure out your elevator speech. I really want to focus more on you getting clear in your own mind what a health coach is so that you can then explain it to others. And I will share a few practical tips on how you might be able to do that. But first, I want to if you're someone who is a new health coach, someone who is going through a health coach training and you're starting to get out there and talk about what health coaching is, hi Judy, then this is definitely for you. So I know for me, I coach students who are going through the IIN Health Coach Training Program, and one of the biggest things that I hear from them is that, they don't really know how to explain what coaching is. So that holds them back from, even talking to their friends and family about coaching, let alone, talking to potential clients about what they're doing and hopefully converting them into paying clients. So I really want to help you, number one, get clear in your own mind around that. So, you'll have the confidence, you'll feel that you understand it, you get it in your own head, and so that you can get out there and talk to other people. Because if you're anything like me, when I was going through my health coach training and starting to talk to people about it, started going to networking groups and starting to launch my practice, I have to say I was stumbling and fumbling around trying to figure out how to talk about what a health coach was. I hadn't quite yet done it. I mean, I'd gone through the training and I learned about it, but I hadn't actually done it yet. So it was sort of me talking about this future kind of state place. So that was a bit of a challenge for me. And the other thing that was happening was that a lot of my community, my friends, are other holistic health professionals. My husband's an osteopath and he works in a really busy clinic, with naturopaths, holistic nutritionists, acupuncturists, therapists. And for me, I was trying to get clear as well on, how am I going to explain to some of these other holistic health professionals what a health coach is? Because it's a fairly new field and not everyone really gets it. So that was, my challenge early on, to figure out how can I explain it? How can I, let them know how I might be able to help out their patients? How might we be able to be referral partners for one another? And just again, get really clear on how I fit into this other picture of all the other holistic professionals that someone could go to. Why would they choose coming to me as a health coach over going to a nutritionist or a naturopath, something like that? So I just needed to get clear. So I hope that this is resonating with you, and that if you're a health coach going through training or just starting out and you're feeling like you're not sure how to explain it or how to even get clear on it in your own mind, that this is resonating with you. So I have a couple of things that I want to do today to just hopefully help you get clear on it and then be able to talk to other people. I want to talk a little bit about the value proposition of coaching. So that's just the value that we bring as health coaches, and a little bit of the process and the benefits. And then I'm going to share just a little bit about what I include in my agreement and my disclaimer to explain it a little bit more. And then just a quick tip for you to be able to take away and put some of this into practice and actually get yourself out there and start talking about the amazing work that you're going to do as a health coach. So to start off, just really want to also mention, and I think I touched on this, that we have a bit of an educational role to do as well, educating people about what health coaching is. It's not just trying to sell our program or our offering, but educating, because like I said, it's a fairly new field. A lot of people will confuse us with some of those other health professionals that I talked about, thinking that we are nutritionists or that we're fitness trainers or, that we're more sort of like therapy. So we do want to clear all of that up. So I'll get to that in a bit. That's one of the ways that we can talk about what health coaching is to sort of talk about what we're not. So when we think about the value proposition, what really is the value that coaching in general, health coaching is derived from life coaching and sort of therapy, so it's kind of a conglomeration of a few different things, but really it's looking at, what specifically for us as health coaches, are we bringing, are we offering, what's our value proposition. So when I'm thinking about, talking to a potential client on a sales call, I just have some tips here for some of the things that you can use in that type of conversation to talk about the value proposition of coaching. So this, again, is not marketing language. It's probably not what some of the marketing gurus out there are going to tell you to do. But again, I really want this to be more about you getting clear on your own mind, how you can explain it and what it is, before you actually, put it into the right language and wordsmith it and make it all sort of pretty for your potential clients. So the first thing that I think we really need to talk about is just a general statement about what health and wellness coaching is. So if we get into a conversation with a potential client or a friend and family member, or we run into an old friend at the grocery store, how are we going to start talking about what health and wellness coaching is? So I think the first the first thing that we would probably say is that really health and wellness coaching is all just about helping you as the client live your best possible life. That's what we're here to do. And usually that means making some sort of dietary or lifestyle change. And making those changes can be really hard if you're doing it all alone. So a coach can help you not be all alone in making those changes, because a lot of times I will say to people, you probably know what you should be doing, but doing it is the hard part. And that's where a coach can come in to really help with the doing. So then we can get into talking a little bit about what the coach's role is. So, I like to say something like, I'm really here to serve you. You're the one who is in charge of your health and well-being, and you're in charge of this coaching process. I'm here to serve you. You're in the driver's seat, and I'm not going to tell you what to eat, how to exercise. I'm not going to hand you a pre-made wellness plan or treatment plan for you to implement. Together, what we're going to do is we're going to co-create a plan that helps get you from where you are today to where you want to be in the future to reach those health and wellness goals. So those are kind of the first two things that I like to start off with. A general statement about health and wellness coaching, and then talk a little bit about the coach's role. And then I think it's really helpful to get into talking about the coaching process a little bit. And this is, of course, going to be different for everyone depending on what coach training you went through, what methodology you learned, how you're going to deliver your actual health coaching program to your client. But I think it is worthwhile to go through and talk a little bit about the coaching process so that the client really understands what they can expect and what the process is going to be like. So, of course, we want to explain that in health and wellness coaching, we really start by exploring where you are today. We want to get a really good baseline of what your current health and wellness is all about. So I could help you by providing some assessments, some tools, some exploration, resources that we can work through together to get a nice clear picture of exactly where you are today with your health and well-being. So again, this is the current state for the client. This is their baseline. Where are they starting from today? So that I think is important to talk about. Then we can explain that once we have that baseline, we understand where you are today, what we're going to do is help you take a look at where you want to be in the future. So this could be, in 10 years time, this could be in 6 months, it could be in 3 months. The time frame doesn't really matter, but we explain to the coach that we want to have a good, clear picture of what your ideal health and wellness state would look like. Where do you want to be in the future? What's that outcome or end state that you'd like to achieve? Because what this part is going to do is really provide the motivation for the client to want to work towards that goal if they have that ideal place to shoot for. So that would be the second part to explain. Then we look ahead to the future for where you want to be. And then thirdly, we would help the coach would help the client come up with a plan to help them get from where they are today to where they want to be in the future. So that plan would include goals and action steps and accountability, but really explaining that that's part of the process. From there, we would explain to the client that Once we have that plan in place, we know what your action steps are and where you want to be, I'm going to help you with accountability and chart your progress and track along the way so that you stay on track toward those goals. So I'm going to be there with you every step along the way throughout that process. I'm going to help you be accountable to yourself and follow through on the action steps that we've set out for you. So I'm also going to help you move through some of the obstacles and challenges that might come up along the way throughout your health and wellness journey. And like I also mentioned, we're going to help track and evaluate your progress along the way. So those are some of the points throughout the coaching process that I like to reiterate to the client. So again, you have to get clear on this in your own mind to know what your coaching process is, and then just find a way to explain that to the client. So, overall, really what I like to share with the client is that really the goal of the coaching is to, during our time together, whether that's 3 months or 6 months or whatever the time frame is to help you start making some of those dietary and lifestyle changes and help you move toward those goals. And then again, help you develop that self-accountability and self-efficacy so that you can continue moving on with your health and wellness goals and making longer lasting, sustainable change after our work together is done. So that's the goal, to really help you be accountable. So during that time, you're going to build your skills and your knowledge. You're going to develop that self-accountability and self-efficacy, which is all about having the client really understand and believe that they can do it. They do have the resources, the strengths, the values within themselves to make these ongoing lifestyle changes. So accountability, self-efficacy, really important. So just to kind of recap this coaching value proposition, we want to have a general statement about what health coaching is, want to talk a little bit about the coach's role, and then give just a high-level overview of what your coaching process looks like. And that'll give a really nice foundation for the client to help them understand what they might be getting themselves into and hopefully see some of those benefits. So benefits are another part that we really should talk about, that it's important for the client to understand what are the benefits to them of going through this coaching process. And of course, some of those things could be like ones that I just mentioned. You're going to develop self-accountability. You're going to develop self-efficacy. You're going to believe in yourself. You're going to know that you can do this. That's a big part of coaching. We're going to, give you that accountability along the way so that you build that self-accountability. So you don't need a coach at the end because you're going to develop that within yourself. Of course, they're going to hopefully develop some new health and wellness habits and start to really put those into place. They're going to develop some skills and knowledge along the way after exploring and trying out new things. They're hopefully going to have improved health and well-being, right? Get closer to those health and wellness goals and achieve them, hopefully, in the time that we have together. And that improved health and wellness is really at the root of everything. If we don't have our health and well-being, we really can't do all those things in our life that we want to do. So another thing that we could also say is that, health coaching could also, down the road, prevent future illness. So there are lots of benefits that we can talk about with the client, and we really want to tailor those to whatever the client's goals and objectives are, which you're probably going to get a good sense of once you go through your health history or your initial consultation, whatever that intake process is for you. So one final thing that you could add in, again, depending on the client and what their needs are, is you could, if there's someone with a health condition or working with a medical team, you could include a line, something like, if you're someone who has a health condition and you've been given dietary or lifestyle recommendations from a health and wellness practitioner or a team of people, as your health coach, I could really, fill in the gap from where those professionals leave off and help you implement some of those recommendations and suggestions that you're getting from those other health and wellness professionals. So definitely that's a big part of it, especially if your client is someone who's maybe gone through an illness, there's a recovery or a rehab phase, maybe they're coming out of surgery, and maybe they've just been recently diagnosed with an illness. So we can work with those types of people, and we want to explain what our role in that would be, is to really help them implement and stay on track with any recommendations or lifestyle prescriptions that they've been given from other healthcare professionals. So I hope just that in itself helps you get clear in your own mind on what health coaching is all about and what the process can be like and how we can start explaining it to our potential clients. Another way that I really like to talk about this and sort of touched on this before, because a lot of people tend to think that we're nutritionists or fitness professionals or therapists. So we want to be clear on that. So a line that I like to share sometimes is just, I'm not a physician, a doctor. I'm not going to be diagnosing you or providing you with medications or a treatment plan. I'm not a registered dietitian, so I'm not going to be providing you with therapeutic meal plans to implement. And I'm not a therapist, a psychologist, or a mental health professional, so I'm not going to be digging back into your past and helping you or trying to help you process what you've been through to figure out why you are the way you are. I really, as a coach, meet you where you are today and help move you forward to where you want to be in the future. So that's just a really great way to upfront maybe just really explain if someone's confused and thinks we're some of those other professionals. I actually include a very similar line like this in my agreement with clients, sort of in my disclaimer, talking about that medical piece, which is really, really important. And I'll get to that on another session. We won't get into all those disclaimers and things today, but I do think it is important to really be clear up front what coaching is and what it isn't. And of course, you have to be clear on that first in your own mind. So the final little tip that I have for you today, and this is something that I did way back when I finished my coach training and I was putting myself out there in the world as a health coach. I joined a networking group and I had to show up every week, and give my elevator speech about what health coaching was. And what I did, because I noticed that there was usually a flow to the conversation. People would ask me specific questions about health coaching. So what I did was I went away and I developed my little list of my FAQs, so frequently asked questions that people would typically ask me about the coaching process. And so, it kind of flows with what we've been talking about already. Usually, someone would say, oh, well, what's health coaching? That's interesting. And so I'd have my initial line. Wellness coaching is really here to help you move toward your health and wellness goals. That you're taking charge and that the coach is really here as a support and an ally to guide the process. So, some general line. And then there would always be follow-up questions. Well, what topics do you cover in your health and wellness coaching? How long would I work with a health and wellness coach? What would the fees be? Different questions like that. So you as a health coach have probably had some of these conversations, and you can just imagine and know what those questions are that people are asking you about the coaching process. So I would just write out all of those questions and then come up with your answer. Come up with what you feel is the right answer for you that feels right. And, practice it. Practice saying it out loud. To just get comfortable with the language. And that's the only way that, for me, it's about practice saying the words, saying the language, so that when you do find yourself in those conversations with potential clients, you're going to feel really clear that you can draw on that language. It's already there. You're going to have it so that it's easily accessible. Because if you're not confident in explaining what a health coach is, it's going to be pretty hard to, convert a potential client into a paying client. So we're kind of veering in on marketing here, but I think, and that's really not my area of expertise, but really what I want you to get a sense from this is today is really in your own mind getting clear. What is health coaching? What is my offering? What's my coaching process that I learned through the training that I did, and how can I then start to explain it to other people? And by writing out, your elevator speech, your value proposition, writing out those FAQs, those top frequently asked questions that people are going to be asking you about health coaching, and practicing all of that is really going to help you build that confidence so that you'll want to put yourself out there and do the work that I know you can be so great at. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions about this coaching value proposition, please just pop them in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now, everyone.